Representative and House Administration Committee Chairperson Bryan Steil joins me. Good evening, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining me. All right, well, you are one of the people who sent this letter off to the DA Bragg. Do you expect him to respond to you? Do you expect him to answer questions from you?
I'm hopeful that he does respond. We've given him until Thursday to do just that. I think the American people deserve to know the answers to the questions that we've asked. I think it's incredibly concerning that we have a DA that's clearly, or by all indication, is engaged in political gamesmanship rather than actually protecting the citizens of New York, which is his actual job. We need to also know, is there federal dollars going into this investigation? These are reasonable questions, in particular in such an unprecedented period of time where he's about to, by all indications, indict the former president of the United States.
You know, I usually try to wait to see how things turn out, and maybe there'll be some more information. But I must tell you, I practiced law for a number of years, and I've covered this stuff. There's nothing illegal with paying off a woman or a man to be quiet. In fact, the House of Representatives paid off $17 million themselves between 1997 and 2017 before ever the taxpayers got wind of the fact that they were doing these secret payments. So there's nothing wrong with that. Congress was doing that. The only question here, assuming the payments were even paid, and I don't know if they were, is whether there's something inappropriate, improper with them. Whether there was some lying in some documents. But even that, at least my understanding of New York law is that it's a misdemeanor to do that. And there's a 2-year statute of limitations. So for the life of me, I can't figure out what the DA is doing. And in light of the fact that the federal government in New York didn't want to prosecute this and the FEC didn't. So I'm having a hard time. I wish he'd come on the show and tell me.
I think you're right. We're asking all the right questions here, Greta, and I think the American people deserve to know the answer. And the reason why it's of such significance is this is a potential indictment of the former president of the United States of America. That's incredibly unprecedented. We need to know the answer to why he's moving in these legal gymnastics to try to make a charge. In particular, as you correctly noted, multiple prosecutors have looked at this and have made a decision not to charge. In fact, he made the same decision. What changed? What changed was that President Donald Trump came forward and said he's running for president again. Is that the reason that he's coming forward with this charge at this time? I think we need to know the answer to that.
Well, I have less of a problem with if the former president did something dastardly with some document. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have more of a problem with Congress making all these payments until 2017, $17 million, and not telling the taxpayer. And that's taxpayer money. I feel like it's stealing from us without telling those secret payments. And I have a real hard time with these corporations, likewise, when they have bad conduct, where they pay off the women usually with these secret payments. And that money's not coming out of the bad corporate executives' pockets, but that's coming out of the assets of the corporation owned by the shareholders. All done secret. All done secret. So I actually have a big problem with that. I can't imagine what document it is that former President Trump might have signed that's so much worse than doing that.
Yeah, no, there's reasons to look at non-disclosure agreements writ large. But what the question here is why is this prosecutor engaged in political gamesmanship, and particularly at a period of time when so many New Yorkers don't feel like it's safe to be out in the streets as rising crime is plaguing large cities across the United States of America? He should be getting on with the real job of his work, and in particular where we're concerned that federal tax dollars are at play here. I think that's the right question to be asking.
Well, unless he has something we just don't know about. I don't know, maybe he does, but it's stunning to me that this is a gift to the Republican Party and to President Trump, assuming it is as it appears to be. And of course, once we hear evidence, sometimes it's vastly different. But otherwise, I just can't figure out. Why did the federal prosecutors look at this same case and take a pass on it? Why did the FEC say it's not a problem? And then you've got the New York DA who comes up with a novel theory and tries to get around the statute of limitations, which is only 2 years, to charge him with something that the underlying offense may only be a misdemeanor.
Well, we're giving the DA the opportunity to come before us and have a transcribed interview explaining exactly what he's doing. He may have an explanation, but I'd sure like to hear it, because when we look at this from the outside, reviewing the leaks that have been provided to the media about what is going on with this grand jury, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered for the American people in such an unprecedented move by this DA.
All right. Well, the word is fat. The phrase is fat chance. He's not coming before your committee. At least I don't think that. I mean, if I were his lawyer, I'd tell him not to. I mean, you know, because it's not going to be a friendly forum for him. Anyway, Congressman Bryan Steil, thank you, sir.
Thank you.